Hello, feminine. Hmm. Hmm. I I feel like I'm caught somewhere between Patsy Cline's Crazy for Crying and this little light of mine. It's like I don't know how I would explain it. A lot of things have happened. There are still many things happening. I don't even know whether to tell you if this is thoughts from my 3D self or my 5D self. I feel like I'm coming in and out of both. I feel like I feel like sometimes I feel like a slug that is I don't know. I mean, I feel like slugs have emotions and things like that too, but if I was for a second to be like the people who don't and just go, "Oh, yeah, no, slugs aren't human," and to just assume that they have no thoughts or minds, they just want to sleep and reproduce and eat and stuff. That feels like me, like I'm just a drone just marching on, marching on, marching on. And then there are other moments that I feel like, I don't know, have you ever seen that movie, All of Me? Or even that one, not the Body Snatchers, but the movies like that. There was one more recently. And in fact, I believe it was a movie made after a book that you really liked. It's funny, feminine. I never thought I would miss the nights I felt most ignored when you had your nose buried deep in a book. And I could see there were some nights I was watching, but I was doing a good job of making sure that you weren't noticing me watching. And I could see the expressions on your face changing, like as if we were watching a movie. When things got suspenseful, you had a worried look on your face. And when they were surprising, you looked surprised. And when they were exciting, you looked excited. And when they were swoon-worthy moments, you looked so in love. Just reading the words on those pages. And it's funny because there were times that I found myself sometimes jealous of the way you would look at those moments in the book because you used to look at me that way. And I remember when you got more and more into reading and writing and meditating and going out with your friends. And I do remember, I pretend that I don't a lot, but I do remember you telling me you just missed me. You wanted more time with me. And I don't know. I was just too immature to give it. I was like the slug. You see, there I go. It feels like there was a moment that I was more focused on just being caught in the 3D, and then in the next moment, I was alive. And not much had changed in the 3D, just in this moment right here. Working, doing the karmic cycles, arguing with my karmic, dealing with the kids, thinking about our kids, you and me. And then I just felt alive, and it was mostly thinking about you. And I feel like that's happening a lot, almost like a slow spin on a merry-go-round. But I feel like I'm two different bodies on two different sides of it. And sometimes one side has more weight than the other, and when that side has almost the weight of my soul in it, that side spins faster. And it's like the force of it, even though it's not going very fast, almost scares me and sends me back into the other side. The whereas for most of the separation, I've felt scared of being in, I guess, the dark side. I I haven't felt enough force to really propel me back into the light side except occasionally. But it feels like, I don't know, it feels in some ways like you released me and yet brought me closer, and I can't quite explain it. And then I did some crazy things. In both my moments of awareness and the moments without. And now everything is spinning. I'm seeing the karmic for who they really are. I'm seeing the people around me are not really my friends. I'm seeing that I have given most of my life and my energy to people who will never give it back. And I'm realizing that I don't want to be the kind of person who's transactional like that, but that I can't keep giving and giving and giving and never even have a moment to give back to myself. And, you know, the other day, I did something for myself that was different, that I've never done before. I bought myself a book. And it was a little kid book. It was so silly, but I saw it one day and it reminded me of you, and I almost bought it right then and there, but I was more worried about the karmic seeing it and thinking that I was thinking of you, because she's always accusing me of talking to you and thinking of you and running back to you, even when there are times that I wasn't even thinking of it, which is not very often, to be honest. And I went back. I decided I was going to get that book. I want it. It's for me. I haven't even spent $5 on myself this whole time. It's all gone into what the karmic wanted, and the book wasn't there. But you know what's funny? I had this strange little warmth in my chest. It didn't quite feel like it was in my heart. It almost felt like it was to the side and above my heart, but it was near there. And I thought, what would my feminine do? Would she give up so easily just because it wasn't sitting there in front of her to grab? And then I thought about how you've been with me this whole time. I mean, I see that you're not waiting, but you haven't given up, not one bit. In fact, you've gotten more bold lately. Yet you are not forceful. You're not needy, you're not pushy, you're just you. And as you remind me, you're quite free and single to do as you please, and that I can participate or not, that it doesn't change, that you're going to do you anyways. And then I thought, my feminine would not just give up because it wasn't there. She wouldn't just lie her head low and tuck her tail between her legs and be sad because something that she wanted wasn't there in front of her. No, she'd go looking for it. And as I walked out of that store, I already had my phone out and I was looking up the book. I'd taken a picture of it. I had the author's name and everything. And I ordered it in that moment. And then I felt the excitement of knowing that it would be there. It said a few days, but I was even okay if it took a little longer. I was just excited to have spent just a little bit of money on myself. Just for something sweet. Not for, I bought things for myself. I bought alcohol. I bought things for my car. I bought some songs and music. I bought things that the karmic told me that would be nice for me, look good on me, things like that. But none of them, I don't know. It's funny because I felt you in my heart when I bought this thing, but it was for me. It was just for me. I knew I didn't have to share it with anybody, but I wanted to share it with you. I sent out so many thoughts just to you, just playing for a moment with this whole telepathic connection. I was spying on your social media too, and I saw that you were in good spirits, and that you were even mentioning that you weren't even sure why, because things were weird in your life, but you felt extra good, and you were just going to go with it. And I knew, I can't even tell you how I knew, but I knew that part of it was me. That I finally did something that you asked me to. And that just like all the other things that you asked me to do, that I often act like a child about and act like you're just being mean or you don't know me at all, and then I do it. I put myself in such a position that either I have to do it or that doing it is so good for me that I want to do it. And then I hear your voice saying, "Now, was that as bad as you thought it would be, dear masculine?" And me and my little voice saying, "No, I actually liked it." And then your giggles tickled my mind. That's the best way I can describe it. When I feel like I hear you laugh a little in my thoughts, whether it's real or fiction, it feels like a tickle when you giggle in my mind. And when it came in, just this little thing, I felt so good. I felt so good about it, and I knew, it's funny, I felt like I knew, whether I told you or not, I felt like I knew what your response would be, that you would be proud of me, that you would see that I had done something for myself, that you would see me. And it's funny because when I got that book, when it came in, I got weird looks from the karmic, like, the man is not supposed to want children's books kind of thing. The man is supposed to spend his money on adult things. Yeah, she pretended for a minute to think it was sweet, but then it was right back to business, and I wanted to delight in this silly, stupid little thing. It just felt so good. And it made me think of you and all your embracing of the absurd. And I realized this is what you meant. To choose myself, to fill up my own cup, to love myself, to do some things just for me. You said them before, and I don't know, I guess I thought that you meant to be selfish. I didn't understand the difference between self-love and selfishness. But then I could see it and something clicked. The fact that the people around me were upset that I would spend such a small amount of money on such a simple pleasure for myself and be mad. Mad because I could have spent that money on them or done something they wanted, and because what I got had no benefit to them. And I realized I'm a fool. I'm an idiot. Forever doubting your magic or mine. Forever believing I was anything like these people. And I don't know, I just locked myself away in the bathroom and let myself delight for just a minute in my child heart. Actually, it ended up being more like 30 minutes, and then I was in trouble for what was I doing in there, and I felt almost embarrassed to say that I was just enjoying in this little simple pleasure, but I just said that I was. That's all I was doing. And that became a fight. And that fight became, I guess, my freedom. I said I'd had enough. And I thought about you. And then I fell back into the darkness again and got scared of being alone and tried to fix things, I guess. Even with the cobwebs of my old fears facing me, it still wasn't as much fight as I would have put in before. I thought about all the same thoughts about what will people think if I leave? What will people think if they find out that I failed miserably when I left you? What will life be like if I'm alone, like you suggested? How much drama will I have to put up with from the karmic when I go, when I'm really done? And I realized I really don't care that much, that any of the people who would say anything, they haven't really been there for me anyways. And they've done nothing but delight in seeing me fall further and further. and making me more stuck and more stuck. And I realized that this little thing that I got for myself